All right, a long time coming, getting back out into pads, starting right up front, with the run game and just playing the physical nature of ball. Challenged the guys this morning to come out here and to capture the style of play that that is acceptable to them. And that's the thing, is to just continue to push them to say what we want to be: a physical team. We want to make sure that it all starts with the run game on both sides of it, and just challenging them that way, and I thought they responded well. It was great, just to kind of get some different movement patterns going on with the pads, and I'm excited to, go back and watch the one-on-ones. On the other side, we have some pass rush stuff down there on one end, and just watching guys battle. Just love this time of year.
It got pretty physical towards the end of practice, obviously with Trevin and Chuba. What did you see there, and what did you talk to them about kind of afterwards?
It's football. Yeah, playing football. We got to toe the line. We got to play physical, and a lot of times, it's not personal. It's just football, and so guys will respond passionately, and they don't like getting knocked on their butt. They take it personal. But, there was a lot of physical play throughout practice, so that's going to happen.
Did you end practice early as a result of that?
Not at all, no. We as quick as I could get the music back going and feed off of that energy, I wanted to make sure the guys can have the ability to have plays, and sometimes there's going to be, emotional, passionate plays. Can we go to the next one? Can we get back to football? So it was great.
Do you want to see just a little bit of that as long as everybody stays safe?
I just want to see a physical brand of ball. The guys should be flying to the ball full speed and have to make those decisions on how to take care of our guys when they're in vulnerable spots. But, it's going to be physical, inside. It's going to be physical on the back end of it as well, and so I want them to push it to the limit, and we'll pull them back from there. But we cannot hesitate and create bad habits by not finishing. As you can, you've seen trends. If we don't capture the physical nature of this game, it takes games to kind of get your tackling down and get all those things. So we have to make it come alive this camp.
Do offensive linemen in particular look forward to a day like today so that they can negate some of the advantages the other guys have?
Absolutely. It's like having handlebars out there when there's shoulder pads. There's a lot more surface to grip inside for the old linemen, where they can really get in there and steer. And for the defensive linemen, it's about pad level, and a lot of those guys operate better once they get behind their shoulder pads, and are able to find edges and to work on edges.
Dabo Sweeney was here today.
Yeah.
Watching Hunter. What'd you think about that?
Oh, it was awesome. I'm so glad he came to join us, our first day of pads. I really admire Coach Sweeney, just over the years, just watching the programs that he's built, the type of football that they play, so I don't get to hang out with him enough. So I love when things like this work out, where I can, still 3 to 5 minutes and pick his brain, just on building culture and pushing the guys, and all the things that I know he's done so well for so long.
Hunter's made like a lot of highlight plays out here the first week, but it seemed like a really strong day for Jalen Coker and TMac.
Yeah.
How have you seen them kind of find their footing this summer, getting back to it?
Yeah, it's just about opportunity, and as a former receivers coach, I look at all the guys away from the ball, so a lot of times, you kind of get focused on where the ball goes and who caught it or who didn't, but there's a lot of good stuff happening away from the ball. JT Sanders had a nice day today, but the last couple of days didn't get a lot of targets, but he's winning. He looks fast, he looks explosive. You talk about Jalen. Jalen's had such a great camp so far. Today the ball found him, but even in the couple of days where the ball might have been going somewhere else, he's bursting at the top, he's creating separation, he's finding edges, and it was good to see TMac just rise to the challenge. The DBs are challenging him every single time, and he's inviting that, and just learning more and more about him and how he responds, in a tough one-on-one rep to start, comes back, catches the deep go ball, and just like this, to see him just kind of stay even, processing what happened, and just continuing to evolve each practice has been really cool.
Saw Hunter returning some punts or
Yeah.
fielding punts.
Yeah.
Is that a case where, as he's like doing more and more at receiver, you start thinking about, well, if he's going to be on this team, let's see if he can return punts too?
Absolutely. Let's figure out all the ways that he could potentially help this team, and he's been a punt returner in his past, he's got a great feel for it. And so, what more can he do, and that's for all the guys too, just trying to see if we can depend on them in special teams, which will be a huge thing for them.
David, it can't be easy going off sitting off a whole year in the NFL and trying to make this comeback. How do you feel like he's looked, and has he looked NFL
Who's that again?
Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
Being away from the game for a
Yeah.
year. How has he looked, and does he look like NFL shape?
He looks like the Hunter that I remember, and I watch him just kind of his route craft, understanding coverages, leverage, how to attack things, and like it really happened in the spring where you could see him kind of getting his legs back underneath him, and probably halfway through OTAs, all of a sudden, he's sudden and he's making his breaks, and he's a guy that Andy really likes throwing to right now, so it's been really cool to see that.
Dave, with Sam Martin now back as primary holder on field goals,
Yeah.
does that allow you guys kind of move closer as far as that competition goes, making a decision between Matthew and Ryan?
I mean, first of all, let's give it up for Andy Dalton, who did a great job, for the first 4 days. But it is good to have Sam back out there. Just, the speed in which he gets the ball down, now the guys can, see who they're going to have as a holder, and it'll give us a little bit more information, but we'll take this thing all the way through into games to kind of see how the guys can help us.
From an offensive coaching perspective, having a guy like Andy who can be accurate and is consistent, how much does that help you with evaluating that second team group, especially as you're mixing and matching personnel?
I mean, it's huge, because with your second group, you have tiers of guys that are kind of working in, and so as Andy distributes that, you can see the guys show up. You can see the backs, you can see all the young receivers kind of coming in and making plays, and it also gives us an opportunity to say, if we didn't get a play to JT Sanders with the first group, or say he didn't get the target, we can always throw him into Andy's group and see if we can replicate that and create it so we can, give him a look at it. So Andy's been fantastic that way.
We saw JT was slow to get up later on there.
Yeah.
Is he okay?
I don't know. We'll check in on him. It looked like he took a shot in the groin right there. We're asking our guys to punch the ball. Sometimes take it a little too literally. So he went down in a heap, but I think he'll be all right. So we'll check in on him.
Dave, who is catching your eye in that defensive front group?
I would say first and foremost, Turk Wharton. Great to have Derek back, but I think just kind of the style and energy that he's working with. Ashawn looks great. Ashawn has worked, you can tell this summer, you can tell this spring, just really taking care of his body, and the way that we're repping Ashawn right now to allow him to get in there, get his work. We don't have to overwork him. We got a lot of guys we got to look at, but he's looked really explosive. He's playing with length, and so I'm really excited about that group.
We haven't seen a lot of Cam Jackson.
Yeah.
Is he just working up to speed, or what's?
Yeah, he's working his way in. He's got a lot of work in front of him, in terms of just playing our techniques properly, pushing him that way, pushing him to get his pad level down. It's a great group to be around because we got a lot of veteran players in there that play with great technique and leverage. And so challenging Cam that way, dosing him the right way, throwing him out there to get a good look at him, and his reps will keep going, up as we continue camp.
One of the things that Dabo says about Hunter is that he just looks so normal out there, like you or me, maybe you going out there to play football, and he turns into Superman and puts the helmet on. How fair is that? Is that close to what you see? Or?
Yeah, it's a special competitive brain that Hunter has. I think some guys, they get better and better the more it feels like real ball, where they continue to play with an awareness, eyes and feet. That's kind of the name of the game at receiver, and you don't see a drop off whether we're going in 7-on-7 or 1-on-1s. You get to the team periods and it's the same speed of play that he's done for a really long time.
Dave, TMac had the one crossing route where he got open pretty quickly, kind of blazed the end zone. We talked about how his speed's kind of understated, at least from an analysis standpoint.
Yeah.
Are you seeing the speed as he's kind of revving up in camp?
He plays fast. That was kind of going back to his film, from Arizona, is his play speed is what you look at, and yes, we take, we take into consideration what the 40 time looks like. He ran a 4.5, he's fast. But he's a tall guy, and a lot of times those guys, their stride builds up as they get going, particularly when he's running across the field, that he can pretty much separate and run away from anybody, regardless of what the 40 time says, so it's good. I know we're doing our job. I know Bryce is throwing the ball with accuracy when we can get him catching the ball in full stride. So, which was a beautiful play by Bryce, a little bit of pressure. He kind of had to move off the spot, get the ball out quickly. And so just a really well executed play.
You referenced
We got Coach Joe and Joe and Steve, and then we're wrapping up.
You referenced earlier the rep against Mike Jack early in the one-on-ones. Are you guys wanting that matchup so Tech can get used to that physical press? I mean, because he seems like he's always getting matched against Mike Jackson.
That's Mike, so Mike wants to go good on good all the time. And I love that. I think the thing I tell the guys is we make us, and the guy across from you will determine how far you go and in your readiness for games. So I just love it. I love that they're battling every day. The battles up front with Rob and D. Lou and Turk. Bobby's going to be coming out there pretty soon. Icky and Timo. Going against DJ Wan and Pat Jones, Princely, Nick Scorton, having to go against veteran tackles. All these matchups are going to make us who we are. So I love when those things kind of happen that way, and I love just the competitive nature of Mike. He's like, I'm going against him. I want to battle against this guy. I want to work on my game.
Dave, Bryce went through a lot last year. What was your takeaway of his season last year, and what impressed you the most with him coming through and finishing strong the way he did? And then secondly, what do you want to see? What areas you most want to see him improve this year?
I just want to see Bryce continue to master the offense, use his tools. He's doing a great job there, getting to some of his signals and checks versus the right looks. He's really dialed in that way. Certainly with the run game, making sure that we're going to the right spots and we have a bunch of alerts built in that way. He's doing a great job of carrying our system to where Brad and I are sitting there on a day off yesterday, like what else can we throw in? What little wrinkle can we add? We're still in install mode at this point, but Bryce is giving us the ability to continue to expand what we're doing, and that's the high hope, really.
In the first part, what impressed you most about him bouncing back?
Just his leadership. He led the whole way through. That's who he is. He's continuing to do that. He checks in with his guys constantly. There's constant feedback in between periods when he's out there. He's just talking to his guys. Thinks he wants a little bit differently. They're always kind of fine tuning stuff. And just his steady outlook. He's just a competitor. He loves the moments that kind of crescendo into this 5-to-5 drill. Where he's got to make a play, and he just thrives there because he stays the same. And so I just love that about him.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.